Abortion seems to be our #1 issue in voting. Obviously, a lot of Catholics believe that. If a person votes for someone who promotes abortion, is that person not culpable of the sin also? Without life, this is their statement, nothing else matters. Many in our church are tiptoeing around this matter, sending the wrong message. God bless. And of course, that's their opinion there. But there's a lot of people who do feel like, you know, if you're not born, then the rest of it is, you know, doesn't really matter that much. But how, as a Catholic, when we're evaluating voting, let's say, not just the fact that abortion is obviously an intrinsic evil, but voting for somebody who, you know, is supporting abortion. You know, we hear a lot also about the personally opposed, but we are actually dealing in this particular election with one of the major candidates who basically seems to be in favor of abortion from the time a child is conceived to virtually through partial birth abortion to the end when a child is basically partially out of the mother. So how should we view this?
Right. Yeah, I'm probably just going to appeal to the Bishop's Voters Guide, and if people want to, you can just go to Google and just put in Bishop's Voters Guide 2016, and you'll get, just zoom down to Part 2 and Part 3, particularly Part 3, where you're going to get the prioritization of the bishops and the rationale for why they have that that prioritization. So that's in Part 3, and you could read that honestly in less than a half an hour. So just here's the quick synopsis to answer that question. What the bishops say are three things about abortion. Number one, it is the preeminent threat. And preeminence means surpassing all others. So it's the preeminent threat to our culture, the preeminent threat that we have to consider when voting. And then that's in Part 2. In Part 3, they go on to say this: it is the preeminent requirement that we should be considering when we vote. So this requirement, and they call it a requirement, is surpassing all other requirements, that we protect the life of the innocent. That comes before all others. And in the prelude to that section, Part 3 of the Voter's Guide, the bishops say, not all of these issues are weighted equally. Indeed, some are intrinsic evils and can never be permitted. And then what follows is an implicit ordering by the bishops. The #1 thing that comes up, of course, is abortion, and they give the rationale for it. This one, violation of this one particular precept is the condition really for all other precepts. So because, you know, the killing of innocent life is so fundamental, all other precepts like the right to liberty, the right to property, the right to happiness, the right to have health care, etc., all of these things follow upon the right to life. And of course, a violation of abortion violates, as it were, everything else in its wake. So the bishops actually prioritize that as the very first thing. And they say in that prioritization that it is never morally justified, and laws that promote abortion should be actively opposed. Now, do the bishops bind us under pain of sin not to vote for a candidate that has abortion? And they don't. They don't bind us under pain of sin, but they give a very strong assertion and advocacy that we should consider this as our preeminent requirement, because abortion is a preeminent threat. It is intrinsically evil, and it can never be morally justified. It should always be opposed. That's as strong a recommendation as you're going to get to put this at the top of the list of requirements you should consider when you're voting. You know, it just comes very short of binding you under pain of sin, but it does not bind you under pain of sin.